Mori o re te whānau, no mai hoki mai, welcome back to the Practice Run, your frontline pass of the heart of sports nation, brought to you by 99 Dreams, inspiring others to chase their dreams with your hosts Rawiri, Tukohirangi and Santarangi. We're diving deep into the thrilling world of the NRL and rugby league today, and who knows what game will take us tomorrow. From the try line to the sideline, we've got you covered.
Strap in as we tackle the big plays, the game-changing moments, and the stories that define legends. Whether you're a seasoned vet or this is your first hit-up, the Practice Run is for everyone. Every run, every tackle, every win. Experience the rush with us.
With exclusive insights, couch analysis, and a touch of humour, the Practice Run is here to keep you entertained, informed, and part of our practice squad. Because here, every practice run takes us one step closer to glory. The Practice Squad, where every listener is MVP, powering our play every episode, every day.
We'd also like to give thanks to 99 Dreams for powering our passion. Now let's kick things off with today's lineup.
All right, whānau, it is officially the off-season. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The off-season means there's no footy. There's nothing to do except play hypotheticals. We still have 4 more teams to get through with our season review. That is the Cowboys, the Roosters, the Panthers, and the Storm. And then Sam will take us through a little mini game that he's brought to our attention. So we've just done all of this off camera to save you guys a lot of time. You miss out on a couple of the laughs. But next year when we do this and we start live streaming these, we'll keep it in and then we'll edit it in post-production. So it's a little bit crisp and clean. Otherwise, there's nothing else to say except for we want to give a huge shout out to today's episode that's not sponsored by. And today our not sponsor is... Do you have one?
Coke. Limited edition Coca-Cola Oreo Zero Sugar Flavor whānau. Currently, they've been giving out for free if you get a large combo at Burger King. Now, is it great? It's not the best. Probably why they're giving out for free. But Coca-Cola,
Cheers
one
for
of the
not
biggest brands in
sponsoring
the
this
world.
video.
Shout out OG Coke. This is a water bottle, though.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our not sponsored video. I don't know why I looked as if I had another camera over here. Imagine if I had another camera, I could just boom, and then back here. That's what dreams are made of, you know? We just have that side camera where we can break the fourth wall, you know? Well, anyway, the first season review of our last lot of season reviews. We've gone through every other team. Let's get into the last Queensland team on the list. What do you got for us too?
Yes, we have the Cowboys. Surprises from me for this team. Well, the one that kind of stands out is probably like the elevation of Tom Dearden. He was already like pretty good, but I feel as though he's taken that next step now into, you know, the elite of the Sixers in the comp. Obviously, most known for the dummy and go, and people still fall for it. It's on every scouting report. He's going to fake and run, and they still fall for it every game.
But what happens if he actually passes?
Nah.
You're fucked.
We already know he's not passing it. He is, you know, few people are known for like certain moves, but I feel as though he's made that his own. Like that is
the dead and dummy.
Yeah, the dead and dummy. Lethal up there with what used to be the bird and bomb. I don't know who else has moves like that. The Gidley pass, not
What
quite
about
in that round, but
Sunny Bull,
yep. Sunny Bull shoulder. So he's definitely been the surprise for me. Tom Dearden and his I guess what do you call it? Elevation to the elite. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Letdown for the team. I don't know. Did they have any letdowns for me? Oh, probably Tom Malolo. But he's getting old now. So it's not a really surprise. Oh, no, I got it. Nanai. Jeremiah Nanai. The rookie season he had and, you know, the contract he's given him, now he's kind of not living up to that. Now, he's still young, though, so I feel as though it's expected that he's going to have down seasons, but I kind of thought that a lot of games he went missing, or you just wondered where he was. He would pop up for moments, but it just wasn't consistent, you know. So for me, he would be like the biggest letdown from that team, and I think that's just because we hold him to a higher standard. When you're that young and you've played Origin and already represented Kangaroos, you're expected to do, you know, be consistent in what you're doing. I feel as though he wasn't there. Needs. Well, I mean, Val Holmes is no longer there. Tamalolo isn't getting younger. Townsend's not there as well. So it's kind of, I mean, probably a 7. I think they need a 7 more than they need like a prop. Need a 7 more than they need a centre. I mean, they got Clifford there, but whether he's the one that's going to take you over, you know, if your goal is to win the championship, is Clifford, can he be the starting 7 on a championship team? Hardly doubt it. So it kind of depends on like what they want to do. But I think their needs would be a 7. I mean, we've talked about him plenty of times. There is one that's currently on the market who used to, you know, who's a Queensland boy. So if they look at him, he'd be a pretty good fit. But again, whether he goes or not, it's up to him. I don't think they got the money for him. I haven't really heard anything whether he's going there. So
he's also updated saying he's happy in Sydney. His family are happy. He's happy to stay if the money is right.
Yeah, of course. Well, looks like the money might be right at the Roosters, is what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Highlights. Damn, I didn't watch many of their games, and the ones they did was when they beat my Bulldogs. So I don't really have many highlights from them. Nah, I don't really got any. I'd rather not say highlights from them. I'll move on to the next one. But my grade, I gave them an A. They about did what they were expected them to do. Or actually, wait, did I even have them in the 8? I can't remember.
I don't think so. I don't think you did.
Oh, well then I should probably change it to an A+ then.
I think they were just outside for you.
Yeah. Well, that A gets changed to an A+. Better than expected. Probably had chances to... I can't remember what game they lost. Did they lose the one against the Sharks, eh? And that was like a real winnable game because they didn't play too good against the Knights that first half, and then they whacked them in that second half.
Surely you've got a highlight from that 44-6 game on September the 7th.
I don't remember that.
There's 44 reasons why you should have at least one.
Nah, I'm good. Highlights are, that they made the 8, I guess.
Wow. So that's your grade, an A+?
Yeah, an A+, yeah.
Roger. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, my surprises this season was that the Cowboys did so well. I did have them in the top 8. I didn't have them as high as they were. I thought that would be more of an 8. Surprised. Letdowns. To be fair, you know, the biggest letdown for the Cowboys is as poor as the Broncos were this season, they never lost a game to the Cowboys. That's got to be your guys' biggest letdown. We got beat up by the Titans. We got thrashed by the Dolphins. And the Cowboys in the 8, the only Queensland team in the 8, couldn't beat us. That says something. Needs for next season. They need Labour to be healthy. I think they need just more health, really. I'm not a supporter of the Cowboys. So I mean, the less they need, the better off we are. Or the more they need, the better off we are. So I'd rather not list their needs. I don't want them to hear this and go, "You're right, we do need to sign Selwyn Cobbo," and they go ahead and do that. You know what I mean? Like, just pluck out of your own backyard. You've already got Dearden. You don't need to punish us anymore. One key highlight for me this season, again, like 2, I don't have a memorable Cowboy game. Like, obviously, the memorable ones for me, we beat them. Like, let's look at this. The Cowboys are coming off a 48-30 victory against the Tigers at Leichhardt Oval. and then we're up at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Sorry, that's right. And we give them the business, 42-18. And then the following week, the Cowboys go ahead and give the Raiders the business at 42-4. So, like, there's just, I don't know. And we sucked by round 23. Like, I get we beat them in round what? Round 4, that's okay, because, we still had... No, we didn't. No, we did. We still had... Oh, fuck, I'm on the wrong one.
You still had
I need to see if Reese was still there. No, Reese was gone, and we still beat them. Reynolds, I think he was out in the second half of that game, and we still beat them. That'll be a highlight for me. But overall, being the only Queensland team to make the 8 this season, A+.
Cowboys, my surprise for them. They continued the trend from 23, which was sometimes they were really good, sometimes they were really bad. I was hoping that was going to be a one-time, like a one-season thing, but for them to have continued it last year and still end up... What did they make? No, they didn't make the 4. They were 5th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just missed out, I think.
Like, so for them to still have those inconsistencies and just miss the top 4, like, it's a pretty good season all in all for them. But I would have thought after their 23 season, they would have figured out how to be a bit more consistent than what they were. Because, yeah, they had some really winnable games where they should have won. And they also had some games where they just should have lost and somehow didn't. Like that Raiders game when we did the preview for it, and if you looked at the forward pack, no way in hell were the Raiders going to lose that game, and then they got smoked. But that's also the Raiders; they were up and down all season too. Disappointments. It's not just Nanai. Like he had a down season, but I think a lot of the young guys had down seasons as well. Lukey's pretty good, but like he struggles to stay healthy. And then he also had times where like he was really good, other times where he was really bad. Who's their front rower? Cotter, brother. To be fair, Cotter had some off moments too this year, but he also had some really good moments. There's a front row there, and I can't remember his name. We'll move on from that one. But no, like it is the thing, right? Like a lot of the young players did somewhat regress. Like Nanai was the big one because, like, yeah, as you said too, he's repped Queensland, he's repped Australia. Like he had a real killer first season, and to step back to somewhat be expected, because like if you expect him to repeat that first season, Jesus, he was on track for one hell of a career. Needs for next season, yeah, to sign Selwyn Cobbo. Other than that, it's a few of their players to get back on track. Like for Nana to be a lot better, for Lukey to be able to put together a consistent run. Dearden probably needs to step up again, because if they're going to go in with a full season of Clifford at 7, man, it's tough because he makes some really poor decisions when he decides to run the ball and not pass. And then they've also got to figure out what they're doing at fullback. Drinkwater's really good when he's on. He's also really bad when he's not. And if your season's going to kind of depend on your fullback the way it did this year, man, it's going to be a tough one, especially if Drinkwater's throwing the ball over the sideline more often than he is throwing it to the wingers or to the centres. One key highlight, probably Lukey's game against the Bulldogs. That was a pretty good game. To be fair, it was Dearden. It was Dearden's game, but Lukey just ran off his shoulder the whole time and got a lot of the what do you call it? Like a lot of the praise. When really it was dead and it was dead and Lukey just ran off of it. But like his game against the Cowboys, against the Dogs is probably the highlight. Overall grade, probably a B plus. They were really hard for me to rank because when I looked at them just based on their talent in the preseason, I thought they were a top 8 team, probably top 6 where they did end up. But off their 23 season, with the way they were up and down and they yo-yoed in and out of the top 8, like I had some reservations about like if they were actually going to be able to do it. So the fact that they did, they get a pretty high grade, but considering I feel like they could have been a lot better than what they actually were in the end, I can't give them an A. So I'll go B plus for them. What's our next
Roosters.
team?
Roosters, brother.
Surprise. Surprise, bro. Probably Terrell May. Like, he was so good for them this year. Like him and
especially starting.
Yeah, like Spencer a little bit as well. But I always thought Spencer was really good. He just never got the opportunity to really show it because of who he was playing behind. Terrell May, I thought he was all right, but not as good as he was at times this year. So yeah, I think it's him, and then re-signing, giving him a contract extension, and then telling him he can go. Like that, the whole package of the season for him is a surprise. The disappointment for me is Joey Manu. Like I thought he was going to be really good, especially knowing that he was leaving. I thought he was just going to not play probably his best football, because his best is at fullback, and he is undoubtedly one of the best players in the world when he is like at his peak. So like for me to have like such high expectations, I guess, for him, considering what we've seen and the way he played this year, like he's my disappointment. Needs for next season. A paper bag, man. They need a paper bag. They need to hyperventilate into it. They need to put it on their heads, because guess what? Next season ain't pretty. Next season ain't pretty. I would toss it aside. I would say, hey, we're going to pay everyone a lot next season, and we're just going to go in and try to get players to take front-loaded contracts for 25. So 26, they make a little bit less. In 27, they make a little bit less, so that there's more cap space to go around, and we're not left, and we're like kind of left asking the question again of how they have such a stacked roster with the same salary cap that everyone else has. One key highlight. Probably, honestly, for me, it's Teddy's whole season. Like last year, he didn't have a great year, but man, the amount of slag he got to me was undeserved. But also, I'm just a big Teddy fan, so I don't know if I was just like kind of saying like, his last year wasn't that bad, and then just kind of defending that. But so like to see him bounce back and go second in Dally M this year, like pretty good. So my one key highlight is this whole season. Overall grade for this team, tough. I still got to give them an A. Like I thought their season was really good until the Raiders game. They had a chance to win the season, and that went all the way in the one game. All right, who's up next?
Tukohirangi.
Oh, it's me. Let's go. The surprise for me for this Roosters team, it's along the same line as you would have been Terrell May, and even his old partner Naho White. I went with Angus Crichton. Just that season. I mean, he was in a ridiculous, form for however long it was. I mean, he wasn't even starting in the team, dealing with mental health issues, and then a comeback like that, and was probably easily the best second rower for large chunks of the season. It's just crazy, considering the fact that he was off contract and they actually signed another player and pretty much told him you were free to go. Then for that player to flip back and then to sign him again, it was crazy, and he warranted it. With the form he was doing. I mean, it was dominant, is what it was. He looked like he just couldn't be touched, and he was excelling at every level. So that was my surprise. It was the form of Angus Crichton. Let down, probably Brandon Smith. I don't know what was up with him. I feel as though he might be too invested in things outside of league. That's maybe taking interest away from the sport. Still, I think he's still got the goods to be an elite player. I mean, he's that good on his day. Maybe he needs to think about what position he wants to play or what he wants to do with his career. If he just wants to make money, chase the bag, why not? And if he wants to be, up there with the greats, I don't know, might have to work on a few things. So, still believe in the bro. He'll make my team in the other week. But yeah, I was just a bit let down with his form this year, albeit an injured, riddled one. What do I got? Needs. I mean, they're losing so many players, but I put halves. Because isn't Sam Walker out for most of next year with his ACL? And then they've got Sando Smith locked in as their 6. So I don't know about that. I always feel as though the Roosters don't really rebuild. They're either championship or bust.
They do have Townsend, yeah.
Oh, cool. Whoopee. He couldn't even crack the Cowboys at the end there. Fucking losing out to Clifford. But I feel as though he's more like there to probably help Sando mature as a player, kind of like that player coach. I mean, again, it comes down to what they want to do. But a few of the Roosters, you've always been a team known to either go all in, all out, championship or bust mentality. I just don't see them sitting on their laurels and just going, oh, we'll wait for 2026. Although they could do that. They've done it in the past before. I swear they always have one odd year out of every 5 or 6 years where they just pretty much bottom out and then get it ready for the year after. But yeah, in terms of needs, I think that's it for me. Highlight was their loss to the Bulldogs when we had the best half I've ever seen from a Bulldogs, which was quickly followed by one of the worst halves I've seen from the Bulldogs, and the Roosters almost won that one thanks to Joey Manu and Luke Keary. They almost pulled that out of nowhere. But no, honestly, highlights. I mean, Angus Crichton again. You talked about Teddy and his form. So yeah, those are probably the two that stick out for me. Is that everything? And my grade, I gave them an F just because I feel as though they're one of the few teams that you either win it or it's a waste of a year. So they get an F in terms of that, but an actual grade, a B plus, So yeah, just because them Roosters, the Roosters, Panthers, and Storm are 3 teams that I had pinned to one of them's gonna win it, and it's if they don't win it, they'll probably look at it as a failure. So that's the only reason why I gave them that F. But in terms of everything out, probably a B plus. I mean, they got to the game beforehand. They just got smoked by a really, really, really good Storm team, and I don't think anyone was beating them on that day. So yeah, that's my review of the Roosters.
Easy. Look, my biggest surprise for the Roosters this season was their forward pack. I thought they had a really good forward pack on the starting field and on the bench. Not too many teams could lose their starting prop for, I'm assuming it was 90% of the season
Hmm.
with Simbins. He played like what 3 minutes in the finals, and Simbin again, Uncle Jared. Only the Roosters can have that depth at the forwards to not miss his presence too much and still have an enforcer in Spencer Leniu. Uh, Also, the Roosters are the only team to sack one of their best props when he was starting. He scored a try every game. He was one of the highest fantasy point scorers this season when starting in Terrell May. So that's also a surprise to me. Apparently, it's just too much off-field antics. Something in that May whānau, eh, man? What are you up to? Fuckers.
Bro, I can't lie. When this rumor came out about or not rumor, but like when they said they were letting go of Terrell May, that he could leave, I was like, it's the family.
Yeah.
It's the family.
And you hate to see it too. You hate to see young players go down this path because, all the older players, they were hotheads when they were younger and did dumb shit. They always say by the end of their career, they look back and just go, why the fuck did I do that? I wasted so many years on the sideline because I put my ego ahead of, the jersey. So hope he gets himself sorted. Hope he goes to a team that he appreciates and that appreciate him and his talents. That was my letdown. Was it? Was that my surprise?
Surprise.
My letdowns this season. My letdown for the Roosters, I don't know, man. It's a combination. But I think they were just unlucky in the finals because they didn't have Walker, they didn't have Smith, so that all just kind of blew up in their face. But yeah, I think maybe that's the letdown of the Kiwi boys in that team just not firing this season. Joey Manu had flashes in the first 8 rounds, and then after that he kind of fell off. Whether or not he was kicked out already, or just a bit of player fatigue, knowing that he's going to Union soon, a whole bunch of stuff. And then with Brandon Smith, who knows? He's a quality player, but again, is his ego getting too big for the club? Time will tell. And they're going through those issues at the moment. Needs for next season. Look, you just need players that want to be there. You lost Sorliti to Union. You lost Manu to Union. You lost Hargreaves to old age. You're getting rid of Terrell May. You want to have players that want to be there. I mean, you almost lost Angus Crichton if Fafita didn't backflip. You got to build that culture back up again, I think, that Roosters culture. You can't just buy a culture. You've got to build it. And I think what the Roosters are kind of trying to do by releasing May is try to rebuild a culture that they can be proud of as tricolours. My one key highlight, it'll have to be that Anzac Day game versus the Dragons. The game that lost me $100,000. I didn't lose $100,000. I was just, one try away from winning $108,000. Joey Manu or Zach Lomax to be the first, second, or third try scorer. They were the fourth. And that killed my multi. But 60 points to 18, and the Dragons are on a bit of a run at this moment. So I think that was a great game. So if you are wanting to watch that game back, there's plenty of highlights in that. Overall grade for the Roosters, I think injuries and suspensions put a bit of a black mark on their season, so I can't give them an A. So we'll go B+. Moving along now to the Penrith Panthers. The four-time world champions. Surprises, the 4th championship. Letdown, the 4th championship. How can you let them win 4, man, in a row? Look, surprised that they can continue to keep winning. They lost Cleary for most of the season. They had all their Origin stars out for Origin period, and then, various times of the season they had injuries. They lost their starting centre early on in the year. and the Panthers keep finding ways to win. They keep unearthing more and more talent. We've seen Sam's favorite guy that he keeps talking about, Smith, Lindsay Smith. Yeah, and then we've seen just last weekend, Casey McLean score 4 tries against. Although it's four tries against PNG, it's still 4 tries in an international match on debut. They're losing this season. Luai, Taruva, who else is going? Fisher Harris. I guarantee they'll still find ways to be there or thereabouts come next year. They're just well coached. So my biggest surprise is that they just keep showing up year after year. No matter how many players you take from them, they still come up. Letdowns. If you're a fan of Penrith, I think the biggest letdown would be the injuries. You know, you're buying season tickets to watch Cleary, Luai, To'o, Fish, Leota, Edwards. And for most of the season, you're going there and you're watching Jermaine Cole and Jack Snitzel. Who was that fullback that they had come in every now and then? It was
Dean Laurie.
Yeah, you're watching him. You didn't come to see them. That's my biggest. That's the only thing I got. I ain't got any other letdowns, man. They had a great season, considering. Needs for next season, they need Luai, Critter, Kikau. They need Fisher Harris. They need Api. They need all their players to come back. That's all they need. I don't know. They don't have any needs, man. They just keep on finding new ways to win. And I think they'll continue to find new ways to win next season. Key highlight, I guess it would be that that no penalty. Taylor May high shot on Reece Walsh that put him out for like 4 weeks. That he got nothing but fine. No suspension, no sin bin time. He just got on report and he got fined, I think, $1,000. So I think that's the key highlight. Their overall grade, they won a grand final. B+. Nah, man, you guys get an A+. Well done.
I struggle with this team. A surprise. Yeah, it's the same as everyone, right? They keep doing it. They keep winning. It makes no sense. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, what a great season recap. I don't know. They keep winning, but yeah, that's just kind of what it is. The surprise is that, like, regardless of who's missing, who they bring in that randomly steps up in big moments that help them win. The surprise is that their junior development just keeps providing. Like, it's provided for them for 6-7 years now, and it just keeps coming. They just keep pumping them out. There's a few real good young kids apparently still on the way from their development. So, God, I can't wait for their run to be over.
When will it happen, man? I
Not
feel like
soon
they've
enough.
still got at least 2-3 years left in the tank.
Not soon enough. That much I will tell you.
I feel like as long as they have a Cleary, they're going to be good.
Yep. Very much so.
My disappointment for this team is, even though it's my team that benefits from it, it is them losing Jerome. Like, to me, that would have been really awesome to see such a good halves pairing spend their entire career together, especially where they like came through the juniors at. Like, to me, that would have been
That would
unreal
have been
to
epic,
see.
eh?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, I just don't really know who the nearest comparison is, like, of like recent time, where like they just have that consistency together and success.
It'll only be Brad Fittler and Andrew Johns at Origin Australia level. There's no club level pairings like that.
Well, that's why it's a disappointment to me that they couldn't keep him. But I also understand that, like,
Salary
if you've got Cleary, right, like, you don't necessarily need another 6 who can win you games unless he continues to be injured. Meanwhile, they absolutely need Dylan Edwards. He is an elite fullback, and he's so good. He's so good. He's very rarely out of position. He just, even when he's busted and you can see it, he still turns up. Their needs for next year, I think Dylan Edwards or Mitch Kenny, one of them have got to become a secondary playmaker. So it's not all on Cleary, because if Cleary gets injured again and they're going in that season with, if it's Blaze at 6, who he didn't look that great for somewhat, if it's Cole again, if it's Snyder, like, if this, like, in 25, if they're missing Cleary for a long period of time and your halves pairing is Blaze and Snyder, or it is Cole and Snyder, like, those games that you found a way to win because Luai was there, so your young guys weren't required to do as much work as they needed to, or like as they potentially needed to. That's going to be big for them. So that we might see them drop back a little bit towards the pack if Cleary misses like a lot of time. So I think they need Dylan Edwards to become a playmaker, or they need Mitch Kenny to be a bit more than what they are, which is massively effort and defensive players. One highlight. I don't know, what game did they lose? To be honest, my one key highlight for them was getting to see Luke Garner play again. He has his issues with injury, but when he's on the field and he can put together a consistent run, he's actually a really good player. So for me, it's Luke Garner, or it's Lindsay Smith, because he's also another great one who can play middle, who can play edge. Overall grade for them, hate them. They're boring. C. It's average. Yeah, that didn't surprise me. They did what they were expected to do.
Fair enough.
C+.
Yeah. Let's see, and then put the 4 pluses for the 4 championships that they got. Alrighty. I mean, everyone's pretty much said. I don't really think I have much to add. I mean, my surprises, what I wrote down here was no fatigue. I mean, I don't know how you make it to 5 finals, win 4 in a row, and sound like you have no fatigue. It's crazy. You continuously lose players. I mean, we've done a whole 13, 17 with the players that have left, and that team would almost borderline win a championship. That's the talent that they've got. So to be able to do it again, you almost expect it, but you, like you guys said, you think it's going to happen eventually. Matter of when, really. My letdown, again, you've already touched on it, was the injuries. I think I put the Cleary injury, or like I say, the Cleary injury. Because they've done it like the last 3 years now, where he just always injured in the second half of the season, and he always seems to come just right when it's time for the playoffs, and he just rattles off bang, 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 match, like man of the matches, just when they need it most. I don't know, man. I've never met someone who always seems to get injured around the same time every year. Maybe it's coincidence.
There's no way they would continuously lie about a shoulder, right? The same shoulder's gone again.
Hey, man, that's why the physios get paid good money.
Yep. I mean, look, it is what it is, but it seems to work, because if he doesn't have to play every game, then why would they risk him every game, you know? They just need him for that final push, and they're away. What I put? Needs. I think I put here, need more money so they can keep their players, or like get salary cap. Again, things that everyone here has touched on. So nothing really new there. the highlight for me was Cleary's final series. Like, I think that game, like the first game of the finals, I was like, I think we were talking about Hughes being like, the best player all year. Well, he was, but like borderline best player in the world. And then Cleary just comes out and just goes bang. And I'm like, okay, I forgot just how goated this guy is. And then he follows up the next week, and I'm like, okay. Yep, my bad. Should never question it, but he is just elite. And again, to do it in 3 games straight, to just, I mean, it was borderline masterclass what he did in that final series. And just goes to show, like, the level he is. I mean, he's kind of like, I'm not even going to say it. But yeah, that final, I was going to say he's like Nikola Jokic, but Jokic's NBA is so different. Like, it's just silly what he can do and how he can just control the game. And when he's on point, I just feel as though you just can't beat him when he's on. When he's on, not saying that they're not beatable, but fuck, it's pretty hard. They're already hard to beat. When he has like a half average game. When he has an elite game, it's almost just chalk it. So yeah, that was my highlight, man. Watching him in those 3 games where he just went next level, it was crazy. And my grade for them, A+. No surprises there. When you win the title, that's kind of what you get, really. So yes.
100%. Before you move on to the next team,
Yep.
I do have a question for you. It's like, say Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary got to retire together. They spend their entire career together. Where do they rank in terms of the greatest duos of all time?
What, in just NRL or
in duos? Salt and pepper, mac and cheese, ketchup and mustard, Shaq and Kobe. Like,
yeah.
Tiger Woods and White Woman.
In terms of sporting, it'd be, I mean, obviously American fans won't put them anywhere near just because they don't know them, but obviously, like, knowing what we know, it'd be pretty hard not to put them up there with Shaq and Kobe. Might even be at worst on par.
LeBron and D Wade.
Nah,
I feel as though they already passed LeBron.
LeBron and D Wade also had the benefit of, they never give him the credit, but Chris Bosh. He did so much shit for them that he just doesn't.
Hey, that's Isaiah Yo.
Well, that's gonna be the duo, right? It's gonna be Yo and Cleary.
Yeah, that's gonna be what it evolves.
Yeah. He's gonna be their secondary playmaker. I'm telling you.
He's their
Brady
primary.
and
Brady and Belichick.
Yeah, I mean, it's up there. I mean, it's already up there.
Yeah.
No one can boost their resume that they've got. 4 championship. They won what? 1 Origin or 2 Origins together? Was it
1? I think.
Yeah, 1.
Well, like they've got an Origin together. The only thing they didn't do was fucking.
They've played in a World Cup against each other.
Yeah.
In a World Cup final.
Like, they've done it all at such a young age. They could have. I feel as though they're already cemented as the best halves pairing of all time.
Yeah, they're the greatest NRL duo of all time.
They might just be the greatest league halves pairing of all time.
Yeah, I could do that. Would you say they're higher than Richie and Dan?
Hell no.
Well, there you go.
Hell
That's a hard one.
We're talking about duos, right? So that's a duo that done everything together.
It's hard because they never played on like the international stage together.
Cleary and
so it's hard to like.
Yet they haven't yet.
Was Cleary got to defect to Samoa?
Just saying, Luai might say, "Oh, you guys need a 6 one time."
Surely Luai is more likely to play for us than Australia.
Oh, man,
you never know.
He's Māori.
He's a New South Welshman.
Also, here's another one that I was going to throw at you. Who picks up the bill? You've got at the table at dinner, it's Cleary, Thurston, Lockyer, Cronk,
Well, it's not Kronk.
Who else was I thinking of in that list? Oh, Andrew Johns, Brad Fittler. Like at the table of halves, who picks up the bill? I feel like Cleary fits in at the table. He's not the outsider anymore.
No, he's well and truly at the table. I just automatically fall back to who's the oldest. I say if they were, they'd probably be. I don't even know.
Nah, because I reckon the Queensland boys wouldn't let Lockie take the bill.
I could see Fittler doing it. Just
Yeah, like honestly, I was like, it's not Kronk. It's Freddie, but
yeah, because Joey Johns would probably be already off his face. You know.
And then take his card. He won't even remember.
I don't think he'll care anyway.
It might be Nathan. They might be like, you've got the money.
Yeah, true that. Yeah, that's the other way. Yeah, rookie.
Because of us.
Yep. You bringing in the big bucks, you got it. They'll be ordering everything. Rack that bill up.
Yeah, we've set the table for you.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
The newbie to the table, yeah.
All right, what do you got for us too? It is the Storm.
The Storm, the final team on our season reviews. It's been a great journey, team. Let's kick into it. The surprise. Honestly, a lot similar to the Penrith Panthers. How the frick do they keep doing this for some 20-odd years? I don't know. It's like we forget about them. They obviously, haven't been to a final in a bit, which is a standard. And you finally think they're going to fall off. No, they get better, actually. Just when you think they're not that good, they get a lot better. So, yeah, I mean, obvious surprise, Jerome Hughes. I don't reckon that's a surprise. I always thought that he was an elite half anyway. I always thought he had the talent. I always hate how the Aussie media, they would always not refer to him in their spine. They'd always be like, Grant, Munster, Pap. It's never Hughes. Well, look, those three, well, we know Pap's always injured, but those other three in and out, the one consistent thing was Hughes. And look at that, wins Daily M. So I thought he finally got his flowers, a bit too late for my liking. He's finally on that pedestal. Like, he's that guy. To me, he's always had the ability, and he's always been that guy. The amount of times I've seen him win a game, but he never gets the limelight. So kudos to him for finally getting it. Let down. I mean, is it the Nelson Asafa Solomon hit? Because that final plays out differently if he's there, right?
But Hughes was also carrying injury through that final. So it's not all on Big Nas.
I'm just saying, Lindsay Collins did headbutt Nas.
Yeah. I can't even say that letdown was that final. It wasn't that they played. It was just Penrith were just so bloody good. They didn't even get a chance in that game, They stifled them and made them play Penrith style. Well, actually, I can't say it was a bit of a letdown because what they did the week before against like Roosters and the form they had coming into it, it was. I think we had them. Did I have them slightly favoured? I think the form they had going in, they were definitely the favourite of the two because even though Cleary was like playing lights out, Storm was smacking teams. Like, it wasn't even close. They were on such a roll. It was like, oh man, if they play like this, you would watch Penrith play and be like, oh man, if they play like this, they're going to be hard to beat. You would then watch Melbourne play and you'll be like, oh nah, they're the favourites. Like, how could they not be? So, unfortunately, the letdown would be the final, game of the year. But it wasn't through lack of trying. It just, some days it's your day. And that final just wasn't their day, unfortunately. What we got? Needs. Sort out the Pep situation. Are they letting him go?
He's gone,
Is he? I mean, then you look to what they're going to do with Jonah Pezzett. I guess what they're doing with their young ones coming through, Pezzett, he's probably good enough to be playing somewhere. He ain't nowhere near good enough to crack that team, especially in the halves. Whaonga, do they finally just hand him the keys, or does he come in on the? Well, he's not going to come in the wing with Warbrick and Coates there. You look at centre, you got fucking, what's his name, Howarth. Brother, get out of my
That's
face.
right.
But then it's the Nick Meaney, like, how he's so old. He's so old.
Consistency.
Yeah, but he does just enough to do, where he just plays his role. So yeah, I think for me, it's sorting out what happens with Whanonga. Pezit. Do they have any young forwards coming through?
Yeah.
Unless they're moving Howarth to
Lazarus.
second row. Lazarus. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. He's the one that got like 2 minutes in the final, right? That one?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, so yeah. Highlights. I mean, Hughes winning Dally M. For me, that's the highlight. I don't know how it got so close that it came down to the final round. But, alright. But he got it. And, he got a good hooker at the end, led by the bro, Will Warbuck. I didn't see that coming. I figured, I knew they were going to do a hooker, because I could see, like, Tarpane looking into the crowd, and I think he was, like, nodding to them, like, nodding to someone to start it. But yeah, Willie Warbrick, I think that's got him in my good books. I was like, you're not too bad, this guy. No leader hooker like that. Yeah, you're all good. So yeah, look, overall final grade. I don't know, man. It's a hard one. Probably like another, like, is it another F just because you didn't quite win it? Obviously, I would have it as like everything up to that final is an A plus easy. Just the final by itself. Oh, they might bring it all the way back to like a B. Yeah, and can't even blame them. So hard one for me to give them a grade because I have them as a team that like they either win it or they view it as a waste of season. Like that's how good they are, and that's Craig Bellamy, right? They're there to win titles, not to fucking lose in the final. So looking at that perspective, it's an F, it's a failure. But tell you what, man, every week before that final, fuck, it's a near perfect season. Near perfect season. But yeah, that's my review. Keep it short and sharp. I don't know who's going next.
All right. So, Melbourne. Look, surprises. Am I surprised? A little bit. Who am I surprised with? Howarth. Why would you choose to go for Australia, brother? That surprised me.
You prick.
I think I was also surprised by Pat, how well he played this season, coming off, a plethora of injuries over the previous years. I mean, he come back from a long injury last year, then he gets injured again. So it's good to see him actually go pretty well this season. Biggest letdown, yeah, I think it'll have to be discipline of some of those players. It's not just Big Nas, but there are other few key players that penalties. I think Harry Grant was more interested in arguing with the ref than he was in playing the ball, trying to get penalties. Brother, you're not Cam Smith. Just move on. Move on. Needs for next season, I guess they need Cam Smith back so they can get the refs back on their side. Realistically, though, what do they need? Well, they've reloaded the roster. They've got all the pieces they need. They still have Bellamy. I don't know. I think it would be sorting out their Papsic because I think that's going to fuck with the chemistry of the team. For as long as it's what's the word?
Unresolved.
That's the one. Unresolved. All I could think of was UFO. And I'm like, it's not an alien.
I should have let him cook. I should have let him cook.
So UFO. One key highlight, man, I don't know if it's all of Couture's tries or if maybe it is that try that coach scored to steal the game from the Warriors. The Warriors thought they had it. They thought they were cheering. I saw Facebook posts. Try of the year, up the wires, here we come, all aboard, choo choo. And then guess what? Xavier Coates reckons, hold my beer. Ta-da! Ta-da! And bang! Over there. It looked more rehearsed than a Michael Jackson video clip. He was like, da! Overall grade, minor prems, he's got an A+. You just let yourself down in the finals. However, it's a season review. A+. I think you still did good. You did good to be consistent enough to get back there again. I'm going to give it an A+.
Surprise.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Melbourne's really hard to surprise.
Yeah.
Like, because they have the track record, right, of Craig Bellamy being there. They also have the track record of these guys who underachieve, or they underachieve based on their talent at other clubs, go to Melbourne and they really shine, or they're guys who you don't really hear of coming through the ranks, and then suddenly they're at Melbourne and they're the guys coming through coming through the ranks, you're like, yeah, you don't hear of. And then they get to Melbourne and they're just solid NRL players who, do their role and don't really look out of place in a top tier team. So yeah, like my surprise is probably the fact that they just keep putting these guys out there. But like, it's also because it's Melbourne, it's not a surprise. Like, could be a surprise. The feel good thing is, yeah, Pep getting back to playing some really good football. Because the talent's always been there, right? It's just his ability to get on the field. Surprise! What else surprised me? Probably Wishart.
Oh yeah, forgot about him.
Like he's
another one, right? For ages too.
Yeah, he's another one who had shown flashes, but this year, because there were so many injuries, he actually got his chance to shine. And so, not to step on it, but yeah, that's probably going to be a need for next season. But yeah, surprise is probably Wishart. Like the fact that he actually does look like a really quality player in the moments that he had, in the opportunities that he had. Disappointment. I don't really think you'd be really all too disappointed with the Melbourne season. They made the grand final and lost, which, yeah, for that club, losing a grand final is a disappointment. But I think if you told Craig Bellamy you get to the grand final this year, he would say, yeah, cool, we'll take it. Ideally, we'll win it, but we'll take it. My disappointment is probably their game plan for the final game. It's kind of like what I said, right? As if they try to go ground for ground with Penrith, they're going to get them. I thought they should have kicked the ball out of play a bit more, get stoppages in the game, because Penrith really doesn't like to do it, because if there's a lot of stoppages, you're not going to fatigue a team. So that's kind of my only real disappointment was the final game plan and the judiciary committee saying shouldered Lindsay Smith in the head rather than Lindsay Smith headbutted Nas.
Lindsay Smith or Collins?
Collins. But I've done it so much this year. Lindsay Collins. Him headbutting Nas. Needs for next season.
Need to re-up that shit.
They need to figure out how to get Wishart in the game a lot more than what they do currently. Because they look really dangerous when he's out on the field. And we just don't see it enough. At least to me, we don't see it enough. I would love to see Wishart out there 20, 25 minutes a game. If not more. I feel like he just looks really good out there. and we need to see him play and not like constantly sitting at 14th man for another 2-3 years before he can leave and get his real opportunity. What else do they need for next season? Meaning's 27, by the way.
He is not 27.
He's 27.
That nigga's like 35.
He's 27.
Nah,
Because, bro, that spun me when you were like, oh, he's old. I was like, huh?
he is old. He was like 30 when he was with the Bulldogs.
What else I need for next season? Probably, I don't know. They had a really good season. Yeah, so for me, it's just Wishart. They need Wishart, and then they need some of those young forwards to come through to develop a bit more. They've got Stefano coming in, so that's going to be a pretty big help for them. One key highlight. It's tough to argue with Jerome. Have I got anything else? One key highlight. Nah, it's Jerome. It's Jerome winning the Dally M.
Nice.
Yeah. Or Will Warbrick, his whole season. He was really good this year. Like the way he improved. But yeah. Either of those two. Overall grade, it's an A+. Like they won the Dally M. They're a game plan away from winning a final. A+ for the Melbourne Storm.
Nice. Well, there we go, Whānau. That wraps up our season review of all 17 teams. And if you've missed any, go back and check them out. They are adequately labelled. I'm pretty sure it says plus season review in all of the episodes where we do a season review. Now, look, Samuel Aurelius Unorthodox Tirangi has a game for us.
Unorthodox.
What do you got for us, my bro?
Yeah, so, par for the course with any sport podcast. The season ends. Why not start with a draft and a way too early look ahead for 2025? So we're going to do some predictions. When my thing lets me tab into it.
Are you laggy, computer?
But oh no, I know why. I'm trying to tab into the wrong thing. So we've gone ahead. We've done a draft for awards. We've gone for top try scorer, top point scorer, coach of the year, and the team of the year. But we're only doing one player in each position that requires 2 picks. So one wing, one center, and so forth. We've also gone with Dally M. We're just spinning wheel to see who gets the first pick. Once a player's taken, you can't repeat that player, but obviously for Dally M, your player has to come from your team. So that's the one that can be repeated. 2, you're up with the first pick.
Yes, my first pick. Who did I go with? Oh, of course, I went at centre. It's my captain, Stephen Crichton.
And I went with top point scorer, Jermaine Sakho.
We did this snake, so I have the last pick in this round, but the first and next. I went with hooker, which was Harry Grant for me, and then second, Brian Tor on the wing.
Solid. I went with top try scorer with my second pick, Dean Mariner.
And then I had the back-to-back picks following that. I went with my winger, Jacob Courez. And then at 5'8", I went with Jerome Luai.
I wasn't even thinking about a half, but someone jumped the gun. So I took Tom Dearden with my third pick.
Yeah. So with my third pick, I went to lock not half, not 6. I went to lock and I took Paddy Carrigan. My 4th pick here for centre, I tossed it up a little bit between someone else. I ultimately took another position, but I took Herbie.
Nice. What have I got? I went with fullback because I kind of fainted him. He clicked on fullback and I was like, I'm gonna take a tap in there. I didn't even. I went with Reece Walsh at fullback.
And then with my 4th pick, I switched and went Coach of the Year. First one taken off the board went with Wayne Bennett. And then I followed that up with my fullback, bit of a curveball here. I went with Latrell.
Nice. And my 5th pick, I went with a lock, and I went with my least favourite lock, Isaiah Yeo.
My 5th pick here, I went top point scorer. I took Ruben Garrick. And then with my 6th pick, I went at halfback, and I took Jamal Fogarty.
I stayed with the forwards, and after a decent year and a strong showing with Team Tonga, I went with Homole Olokoatu with my 6th pick on the edge.
My 6th pick, I went with who I think would be the top point scorer, that being Nicholas Hines. And then I backed it up with, I was the last one to take a lock, and I went with Cameron Murray with my 7th pick.
I stayed with the forwards. I went with Payne Haas.
My 7th pick followed suit. I went prop. I took Terrell May. And then with my 8th pick, I went top try scorer. And it was boring, but I went camaraderie. Yeah.
I think by this point, my OCD kicked in and I just started going up the line. And I went with Reece Robson with my 8th pick at hooker.
With my 8th pick, I filled in the prop position. I went with Adam Fanua-Blake. And then at number 9, I went with another Bulldog, that being Jack Preston on the edge.
And look, I thought, you know what? He's going to back it up and have another great season. Might not be a Dally M season, but he'll be halfback of the year. And that's Jerome Hughes.
Then I went with my pick. I was going to pick him at centre because I hope that's where he plays next season. But I went at fullback, and it's Turbo. For 10, I went with my 5'8", and well, I did jump the gun. So Dearden was off the board, and I went with who the Tigers will play at 6 next year, Lockie Galvin.
Nice. I went because I jumped early and got a 5'8" pretty early. My centre was next. You threw off my numbers. But I went with Tony Staggs at number 10.
And then with my 10th pick, I filled out my hooker. Went with, of course, my Bulldog, Reed Mahone. And then at 11, my top try scorer, I have gone with Dominic Young.
Well, my 11th pick, and I hope he gets to play some ball time this season. We'll see him out on the wing. He finished the year great on the wing for the Knights. We're going with Fletcher Sharp.
My 11th pick, I finally took a coach of the year. I took Ricky Stewart. I think the Raiders are going to be kind of decent next year, so that's what I took. And then my 12th pick, I took Halem Lukey on the edge.
Nice. I took my coach of the year, which was Michael Maguire. No surprises, right?
And then to round out my team, I went with the halfback. Gone with the old head DCE. And then with my final pick of this draft or whatever, my overall Dally M, I have gone with none other than Jerome Luai.
For my Dally M, with Madge at the helm, I've gone with Payne Haas.
And to wrap us up, my pick, someone who, when healthy, looks bloody great. Turbo. He'll be back in the Dally M running. Healthy year next year.
Nice. That was a fun little game. Like I said, next year when we start doing things live, we'll film the creative aspect of it when we're off camera. But just to speed up the episode and have a little continuity and fluidity, we just roll it out like this, so you guys get the final product instead of hearing us go, shit. Ooh. I think, and then just be awkward as fuck. So it is what it is. Tune in next year when we start streaming live on all platforms. Do we have anything else to say?
Nah, nothing from me, man. I don't think so, anyway.
Samuel Unorthodox Aurelius Tobias V.
Benji, breach them all. Sack them all, brother. Sack them all, especially Jaden Sullivan. I know he's not shaping up. I know Bateman's not shaping up.
What
Sack
about
him.
Flemmer?
If we can sign Terrell May, sack him. Otherwise, we need someone who might scare people. Not anyone good, but hey. That and then Ireland man. I see a lot of excuses for why you guys lost. Maybe you just suck. Maybe you just suck. Well, it's the first time they've played together. Yeah, all right, brother. All right. Other than that, nah.
Well, there we have it, Whānau. That concludes our first episode of the off-season. We don't actually know how long we'll run the off-season for. We'll just say in that particular episode that this is our last episode for the season, and we'll see you back in the new year. So enjoy it while you can, because you'll miss us. And I don't think we'll have a Christmas episode or a New Year episode. We're busy too, Whānau. And there's no sports on. But we'll come back as much as we can until we can't. And then we'll see you next year. But until then, go check out my other channel. It's called Wrenched Throttle. Go watch me ride a motorcycle. I've got 300 subs over there, more than what we've got, which is shit. So I'm going to try and pump the promos to bring them over to this and just let them know. Well, maybe I'll do it next year when I get a few more subs, because we've got fuck all content coming out anyway, so we might as well push it in the new year. But for all you loyal fans, all you listeners that have been with us since day one, let's push. And I'll see you in Wellington on Tuesday next week. Toi tu te tiriti. What?
Nothing.
Man, fuck. What's his name? Stephen. Was that his name? Stephen? What's his name now?
Stephen what?
David.
David Seymour. Is
David
it?
Seymour. Yeah, there we go. Now it's David Stevens.
Yeah. Up to. That, I caught up the IRA last episode, so apparently that's not the go. I'm from Australia, though, if you're looking for me. I'll tell you the Finding Nemo address, but I actually don't know what it is.
P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney.
That's my Eddie. Get at me.
I'll also shout out Sam for tonight's game. That was fun.
It's all good. Shout out every sports podcast that I've ever watched. But no, other than that, shout out 99 Dreams. Go buy a hat.
Please.
Buy a hoodie. Buy a baseball shirt.
I want to buy another annual subscription of this.
Support team. Come on. Where we at? You're from Ireland. Support. We gave you guys some love.
Hey, Kaka.
But yeah, other than that, thank you for listening. Hey, get us out of the comments. Share it. Don't share it with a PDF file. I'll always bring that one back.
Peter.
Yeah, old Peter. Don't share it with Peter. Please don't.
Bro, that'd be so weird, eh? Like, imagine someone just gets out of jail for, like, being a Peter. And they're like, bro, I listened to your show.
Send them straight on back. Send them straight on back. But yeah, other than that, shout out for listening. Over to you too.
Yes, wow, I guess it is that time, right? How many weeks we've been at it now? Or was it 27 weeks of the regular season? Or did I make that number up? Felt like 27. Include the playoffs and that. And then international season. Looks like it has come to an end, team.
79 episodes.
79 episodes. Thanks for the support. We've loved every second of it and every moment of it. But this isn't the end, whānau. We've still got more to come. Hope you enjoyed this season. Like I already said, we'll be dropping the odd episode every now and again while, there's no league on, just to keep you informed. But you wait till next season, whānau. We've got things working. We're working on things. All right, you see this camera? It might be better. Keyword maybe. Hopefully.
Could be worse.
Yeah. We might be matching Rawiri's high definition soon, 4K resolution. All right. But we got things in the plan. We're working on big things to make it bigger, better. I mean, the practice run, our first season, that's what it was. The practice run. Now we know wow. We kind of know what we're doing. Still learning, still growing, But we really appreciate it, those who've been on this journey with us. We might change things up. Hopefully we'll do more things in person, although that takes a bit of logistics. We're still trying to get to our first live game. Help us out, whānau. We'll get there.
We're still trying to have our first in person, all of us.
Yeah, and it will happen sometime. In our second season, where we're bigger and better. Well, that's the plan anyway. But look, we'll see you in the next episode, whenever that is. Probably next Thursday. Might be, might not be. And who knows, we might have a few more games for you. Something to fill in the time. But yeah, stay tuned. Obviously, follow, like, comment, all of that. But until then, whānau, we will see you when we see you. Stay safe. Chur to the chur. Mā te wā.